Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Mr. Effiong, an award-winning data scientist, researcher, software developer, and programmer. It's so good to have you here once again. In today's class, we want to look at how to create database and table using MySQL. A database is an organized collection of related files that's usually in digital form, and a table is an object that is stored in a database. Tables are made up of rows and columns where they form a cell to enter your data. MySQL is a relational database management system. It is open source, and we can use it to create and manage a database. The requirements for using MySQL, you need to install the server. It's called XAMPP, or you can get the direct MySQL server, but XAMPP is flexible and preferable, at least for beginners. So we are going to go to the main work platform and begin the class proper. But before doing that, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please kindly hit that subscribe button so that we can provide you quality tech videos to grow in the tech ecosystem. Thank you for doing that. Now let's proceed to the main work environment to begin the class proper. Welcome to the work environment. Now we have sample data sets to create. The database name is called student, and the table name is called profile. But what importantly I want to show you guys is our server control panel. We are using XAMPP. XAMPP is a localhost server. It's an acronym for the X is multi-operating system. That means it can support your Windows, Linux, and Unix, and so on and so forth. The A there is for Apache, which is a web development tool. The N stands for MySQL, which is what we are going to be using. It's a relational database management system. The P there stands, the first P stands for Perl, which is also a programming language for web. And the last P is PHP, which is a server-side scripting language. You must ensure that your control panel is set and the status check is okay. Then after doing that, I can minimize my control panel. That is it. Now let's look at the data sets. Okay, so this is the sample data set we are going to work with, but today's video is just to create the database name and the table name. So we are going to create the database, and it's called students, and the table is also called profile. And we have 7 columns. We have column for ID, name, gender, department, state, date of birth, and mobile number. So we are going to launch our web browser. To use XAMPP, since it's a localhost server, you need your web browser. You can use Google Chrome, Firefox, Edge. These 3 will suffice. They are good browsers, web browsers. You can use it for your MySQL activities via XAMPP. So we are going to launch our browser, enter the MySQL environment, create the database, and also create the tables. Along the line, we'll be learning new strategies as we proceed on this exercise. So let's enter the web browser to create our database and table. Okay, so we are in the web browser, and now we are going to enter the server URL path and launch the XAMPP server from here. So I go to the URL bar and I key in localhost. You can use lowercase, localhost /php myadmin. Localhost /php myadmin is the path to the MySQL environment. So you have to key it in, localhost /php myadmin, and you hit the enter key on your keyboard, and this will launch MySQL relational database management system. So it's loading. Wait for it to come up. In this environment, you can create your database and your table in it. So let me increase the zoom a little so that we can see. Okay, good. Now this is the MySQL environment. It has some existing database. If you're installing XAMPP for the first time, it comes with some pre-existing databases that you can learn from. So if you want to create a new database in MySQL, we have a field here. The moment you launch it, you'll see a field called create new database. And if you could record the data set that was displayed before we got here, the name of the database we are to create is called students. So you come to this field and type students, and you click on the button create. The moment you do that, you have successfully created a database using the MySQL tool. So I click on create, and it prompts me database name student has been created. Now let's look at the left hand side. There's a navigation here. You can see this title students, then there's an index 0. This thing means the database is empty and there's no table in the database. And the moment you create the database, it provides a field to create the table. And once a table is created, you go ahead to design the table. So take note of these 3 steps. You create the database, you create the table, and you design the table. These are the sequences when you are creating a database and table using MySQL. We are finished creating the database. Now let's create the table. From the data set we have, the table's name is called profile. So it's not case sensitive, but I just love to do it with lowercase. So click entering the table name, which is profile. The table will require the specific number of fields or columns. So we have 7 from the data set. We enter 7. So once you enter the table name and the number of fields, you click on this button here. It's called Go. So we click on Go to create the table. So now it brings us to the table design environment. This is where we design the table. And the specific activities involved in designing your table is to enter the name of the fields or columns, the data type, the character length, and assigning of primary keys. These are the 4 major activities needed when you are designing a table. So let's proceed to design the table. Okay, so let's enter the field. The first one, we have the student's ID. We enter ID. The next one is name, the student's name. So from the name, we have department. From department, we have gender. We have date of birth, DOB. We have state. We have mobile _number. So these are the different column names that we want to create our table with, as it is displayed on our data sets. So we are done with the first set of activity. When designing a table, we enter the field name. Now we move to the next phase of the table design, which is to enter the data type. The data type determines the type of data to be stored in the table. If we have different types such as integer, text, otherwise known as string. We have varchar, variable character, the one that allows you to use both integer and string together. We have dates, we have float, and so on and so forth. So let's enter the next activity, which is the data type for designing the table. So the first column is ID. So ID will contain both integer and string. From the dataset display, this is like student's mark number, so it's a combination of both strings and number. So we click on this drop down here and select varchar. Varchar means variable character. It allows you to use numbers and string together. Maybe you have a column for email, address, mark number, and the rest. So we select this. We come to the second column, which is name. Name will be text, also known as string. However, I heard some people's name can contain characters or numbers. If that is the case, you can select your varchar. We come down to department. Department is text. We'll come down to gender. Gender is still text. We come down to date of birth. Date of birth, we will now use dates as a data type. State of origin is text. And last but not the least, mobile number. This one has to do with numbers, so integer, so we leave it at int. So we are done with the second phase of designing the table. Remember, we have not entered records. That will be for the next class, but this class is just to create the table and design it. Designing means you enter the column name, the data type, the character length, and the primary key. So we are done with the second phase. Let's move to the third phase, which is to enter the length of characters for the table. So we come down to this place. For ID, we can take 20 because it's just student data. I think it won't exceed 20 characters. If there's no specified number, you just use your intuition to know how many characters can the table contain based on the column name. For the same thing, name, I can take 30. I don't think somebody's name can exceed 30 characters. Department, I can take 15. Gender, male and female. Female is 7 characters, so let's leave it at 7. Date of birth, we can make it 15 when you combine the format of year, month, and day. For states, we can leave it at 20. And last but not the least, mobile number is up to 11 digits, so we leave it at 11. We are done with the third phase of the table design. And last but not the least, we move down towards the right, we navigate towards the right, and we come to this place called index. The index is for selecting a primary key. What is a primary key? A primary key is a unique identifier of records in a database. Like in university now, everybody has MAT number. That MAT number can be used as a primary key because two or more people cannot have the same MAT number. Same thing as two or more people cannot have the same phone number, and so on. So you always look for a column that uniquely identifies records in a database and use that as your primary key. It is very, very important. So we are using ID as the primary key, or we can use mobile number. So let's stick with ID. I just open down this drop down and select primary, and that completes the table design phase. We are done with designing the table. After doing that, you scroll down and look for the button called save. We click on save, or if you still want to add extra column, you add and click on go. But we are done with designing, you click on save. So I click on save, and it's going to prompt me, student's profile table has been created. And remember, the index that was showing 0 before is now showing 1 because the database students contains a table called profile. We can as well create as many tables in the database. I remain Mr. Effiong, and we'll continue with this data set in inserting the records for it in the next class. So please don't miss that video, and I'll be glad to see you in the next class. Bye.